Start the recording.
All right, so at this time I'll open up the Board of Public Works meeting for January 26, 2021. And I'll ask if anyone is recording the meeting. And I know Mr. Fenney is recording it over the Zoom meeting here, and that's for the minutes for Mr. Tadia. So I don't think there's anybody else that is recording, but if there
Nope.
is, please make yourself known at this time.
Yep, nobody in the audience?
Okay.
No.
Good.
All right, we're going to switch the agenda around a little bit. We'll approve the minutes first, and then we'll move on to the other business, and then we'll do the proposed fiscal year 2022 budget. So have you guys gotten a chance to review and approve or review the minutes from last week's meeting, 19th?
Yes, I submitted 2 changes to Bob that I don't see in the copy that Bruce sent out. And so I would accept the minutes with my 2 changes. During the comments and discussing the Billing Cemetery, the land use code, I referenced
What the heck's going on? What
I
happened?
didn't hear that.
Oh, everybody froze for a minute there.
oh,
I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah, Phil, why don't you go over that again with the changes for the minutes so we can vote on the changes
in
of the
in
minutes.
the board comments on the referencing the Billing Cemetery, I referenced the land use code 962B as in victory, not B as in board. So and I submitted that change to Bob, but it's not in this letter that you sent out.
I,
And the following sentence where it said aligning with the property taxes, that's align, not along.
Bob's in the chat box. He says he has accounted for those changes in the minutes.
Okay, I just want to make sure if we're voting to accept these minutes that you published here, that's not acceptable.
No, we will,
My 2 changes.
yep, we will make the modifications. I believe Bob has already done so and send those out to the board before we post those.
Okay.
Everybody's frozen again. What's going on with the internet? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Everybody,
Are we back?
Can you get, is it freezing for everybody or just for me?
No,
it's freezing for me as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's freezing for me.
All right, so I well, hopefully that's the last one, but I ask for a motion to approve the board minutes from January 19th, 2021 with the 2 proposed changes that Phil mentioned.
So moved.
And a second.
I'll second it.
All right, I'll go by name here. Phil, all in favor?
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
and I'm a yes too. The minutes are approved. All right, and now we'll move on to the other business for the Billings Hill Cemetery and the follow-up that we received from the legal counsel on the town for the abatement of the stormwater charging for the Billings Hill Cemetery. Bruce, do you want to speak to this or?
Yeah. Oh, there's Jim. I thought you were missing for a minute there. Based on town council's review of the current bylaw, they do not recommend, or we can't actually abate the stormwater bill for Billings Hill Cemetery based on council's review of the bylaw and the credit policy that goes along with that, unfortunately. I'm not sure what else to say, Jim. Except for that, comes from the town council for the Department of Public Works and the town manager's office.
Okay. We'll discuss it on our board and decide how to proceed.
Okay, and I didn't mean to have you come up, well, be on the board meeting, obviously just to tell you no, but I figured it needed to be in a public meeting.
That's fine.
Okay,
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I'm gonna leave you if you all don't mind. And
thank you, Jim.
Yep,
Yep.
thanks, Jim.
goodbye.
Okay.
Okay, is any other business while we're on the other business topic? All right, hearing nothing, we'll move right along to reviewing the changes that Bruce sent out for the proposed fiscal year 2022 budget.
Yep. So what I'm going to do is actually just announce the changes within the division and then the total of the division and how it changed, plus or minus, okay? Instead of me going through each one, okay? So.
That sounds great.
Okay. So,
Can we, I have some additional changes to recommend. Do you want me to bring them up as you go through and talk about the changes already made?
well, I was assuming that in the past week, all the changes that needed to be changed were going to be conveyed through emails and everything else, so the budget could be approved this evening.
I don't think there are a lot, but I would like to bring them up. Because I spent the weekend going through it.
Okay,
After we spoke, Bruce, I did give you one that you made a change.
Yep.
Which was helpful, but there's a couple of other areas and maybe you could speak to some of them,
okay, all right, well, we'll
Because
take,
you just added the $55,000
yep,
in the sword, right?
right, yep,
Which was, I don't disagree with.
right, okay.
So-
Well, just keep this in mind too. I won't be able to verify if these can even be done, obviously during the meeting. So it is what it is. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So under the building division, based on some conversations with the board over the past week, we have reduced line item 5307, professional technical others, by $10,000. So that was at 83,500. We reduced that down to 73,500. So that was the only change in the building division. That gives a total budget decrease by 0.10% in the building maintenance division under 422. Okay.
I was also looking at the supplies, the 5340 accounts. Bruce,
The who?
the 5430.
Okay.
You see them all with the different buildings.
Yep.
We're way underspending those totally, definitely because of the current past year,
Well, COVID, right. Yeah.
But I think you could probably take all of those 5430s and spread out another $10,000 reduction. You're only at a $47,000 year-to-date scenario, and you got like $70-something thousand still available for the rest of the year, which is 6 months.
So you would like to take $10,000 out of the 5430 under the building maintenance supplies.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't care which building you do it in.
Okay.
You could spread it around in those 5430s
Okay.
because there's a bunch of them.
Okay. Okay. All right. Anything else under the building maintenance division?
No.
Okay. Well, total's irrelevant at this point in time now anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, under the Highway 421, we did not change anything under that division. So that is at a 1.1% increase. Any discussion or anything under the Highway division?
I'm satisfied with it.
Okay,
I'm good.
All set. Yep,
everybody good? Okay. Under the Sewer division, the only changes made were under the 5241 repair vehicles. We increased maintenance costs, but we ended up reducing that cost from our last meeting by $4,000. So we're currently at a $24,000 a $4,000 increase from last year that equates under that line item as 20%. The other changes were under 5382, increase based on the new information over the weekend given by the Springfield Water and Sewer Commission. That is for the river crossing and the York Street pump station. They work together in order to get the that wastewater across the river. So some more bad news. And obviously you guys looked at the sheet. It looks like I added $55,000 roughly to that account. Next year is going to be $108,000 based on their projection in the outgoing year. So we'll have to do some creative thinking moving forward on that account even next year.
Hey, Bruce,
Yeah.
I would like to add a little more challenge here to the first one where you reduced it 4,000. I think you could do another 4,000. You only spent around $3,500 to that account through half the year.
Which account?
The 5241.
So we're going to put it back to 20,000.
I would put it back to 20,000. You only spent $3,500 in 6 months. I would take the challenge and reduce that another 4.
Okay. Any other comments from the board on that? Or no?
What was the spend a date on it?
3,500.
3,500. And why were we projecting maintenance costs to go up so much again, Bruce?
It's just based on some information given to me. Well, I don't have it with me, unfortunately. Just the increased maintenance costs and just basically because of the age of the equipment. And more specifically, under the sewer division is our 1978, I believe, 1978 jet truck that we currently own. It has been requiring lots more work. But we'll, like you said, we'll make the adjustment. And hopefully we get through, and if not, like you said, we'll park it, that's all.
Hey, Bruce, I have another one in there. Under 5530. The 61,500.
Okay,
I'd like to reduce that by another 10.
10,000?
Yes.
Well, just so you guys know, I'm gonna have to verify these numbers. This is a lot of money taken out of the account. So,
We're currently at,
let you know.
we're currently at $13,500 actual, well, 13,800 or 13,500 after 6 months on sewer supplies.
Hey, just like I say, keep in mind, this is for pumps and things like that, in case there's any kind of catastrophic failure to anything. Just so you know.
Yeah.
And you're okay going in front of the council asking for a reserve fund transfer if we do not have enough money.
Who goes in front of the council currently and makes all the adjustments to these budgets now? Because I see a lot of transfers and additions in the current year. And I know it didn't come through our CPW board, so somebody's making transfers in this budget currently based upon the actuals you sent me. So
I'm
somebody does it.
Excuse me?
somebody's making transfers and adjustments to the budget during the year.
That's the chief financial officer probably for the town that's making those
And
changes.
I don't have a problem. I'm giving you a challenge at this point. We're trying to hold the rates, like you say, Bruce, in the sewer and water. As you mentioned in the last meeting, if we have to do something to challenge ourselves, if we're going to maintain or go to meet your challenge of holding those rates. So we just increased to $55,000. We got to do something to offset it, to hold the rates, not given the ability to know the other, interest and principles and stuff like that with your projections, So it's only decreasing the total of 14,000 against a $55,000 increase. That's my point. And then next year, you're going to increase it another 55.
Okay, I'm sorry, I lost you guys.
Okay.
My computer, it just closes and, anyway, okay, all right.
I mean,
What I will do,
did Bill and Tom hear me?
Yeah, I heard you, Phil.
I can hear you.
Okay. So you understand why I was submitting the extra $14,000 reduction?
yes, but like I said, we're getting close to the tipping point. I just want you guys to realize that, that's all.
Okay.
Okay, that's all.
Thank you.
Yeah, I lost my place. So the last item under the sewer division, 440, is 5590, other supplies and services. We reduced that by $4,000 based on last year's number. So we reduced that line item too as well from 25 to 21. Okay. Other than that, I have no other changes, and I'm not going to read the percentages, obviously, because they're not going to be accurate at this time, okay?
Sure.
Any further questions under the sewer division, 440? And is everybody good with the changes within that division?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm okay with it, looking at the current year spend, 6 months in, we're only at 12 grand for that larger drop that Phil was just talking about. So, and maybe it's a bit of a roll of the dice, hoping the equipment doesn't fail, but I
Right.
think, yeah, we should probably, you must track from year to year how much we're spending, right, Bruce?
I do, and this is where it becomes difficult. Last year really isn't a great barometer, I guess you could say, because we stopped spending. And even
Right.
this year, we're doing our best not to spend. It just because of the climate we're in. So,
Yeah.
But like I said, we'll see where we end up. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So we'll get some more numbers this year. It just like I said, and I know I don't mean to repeat myself. It just we need to try to keep a little bit of money in the pot just in case of emergency, so we don't have to go ask for additional money. That's all. Okay.
I understand that, Bruce.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. But the trucks are being used this year because of the procedures we have of one man per truck.
Yes.
So they're being driven all around the place all the time.
Yep.
And these are, 6 months worth of actual expenses. So it isn't a case of me not knowing that the trucks are not going to hold up when they're being driven.
Right.
You're not parking them for part of the year and having 2 men per truck or something,
Right. Gotcha. Excellent. Okay. Under their next division, we have snow and ice, 423, no changes there. Waste collection, there was no changes there.
Hey, Bruce?
Yep.
I just want to go back and the snow and ice.
Yep.
Removal. The 127.9. I know we haven't spent a lot this year so far,
Yep.
but would you consider going to 118?
No, I can't, since I've been here,
Yeah.
there hasn't been a year we haven't overspent that account.
Okay, I just wanted to get your input
Yeah.
on that because I found it hard that, we're way below our spending level on the 128.
Right,
And it's just being flatlined and it's hard to know without
right,
seeing prior year actuals.
right.
You know, I don't want to just go by the current year expenditures, but we seem to be way low there. But snow, and ice is a tough one to predict.
Right. So I'll just give you a kind of a running total, and this is my record. This doesn't include vehicle repairs. This is just for overtime and salt that's been put down the road. So we're currently at 76,698.44 for this year so far. And this, like you said, this doesn't include everything. Okay.
Yeah.
Last year, we expended 161,859, and this doesn't, like I said, this is on the low end. And that was 2018, 2019, and 2019, 2020, we spent 192,791. And then the previous year, 345,880. So typically, every year we overspend that account. So it's one of those weird accounts that you can overspend. So that's why it is kind of low. It is what it is, I guess.
Okay.
Okay. I
I
wish.
just want to get, I just want to get some feedback from you on prior years.
Sure.
And stuff. It just seems out of whack, but that doesn't mean it doesn't change quickly.
Right. It does. It typically does. Okay. All right. So moving on, we're going to hit the water division, 450.
Let's go back to what did you have waste collection?
Yep.
Same thing there, Bruce, on 5292.
Yes.
You only put in 65,000.
Mhm.
We spent 53 already in 6 months.
Okay. Oh, because, see, those are one of the accounts that have a blanket PO.
Okay, that's all right. I don't care what the procedure is to get billed.
Right.
But why we're at 53 in 6 months and you only asking for 65?
Because based on my projections, that's what we're going to spend roughly. I believe maybe within a couple $1,000s. And this is another one of those accounts when it comes to dumpsters. It's hard to calculate how much tonnage you're going to dispose of. This is just based on, like I said, a 3-year average for that. So,
This one, I'm the opposite way. I was thinking maybe this one was underfunded.
oh, I think we'll make it by. I think it's going to be real close, but I think we're good.
Okay. I'm not just hitting the unfunded no. This one here, I actually thought you might be underfunding it.
Right, right. It's going to be right on the money, I hope. So, like I said, we have a new contract now with McNamara, so I'm pretty confident. They've been pretty good, and based on our average, I think we're going to be hit our target. So,
I just seem kind of weird that 6 months you spent 53,000,
right,
and then you're only going to spend another 12, $10,000 to $15,000 more for
Right.
another 6 months. Just
right,
seems out of whack with me.
right. It's just because of that blanket PO, and like I
Well, the
said,
blanket PO is just them sending bills in against an open purchase order. But the fact is,
exactly, and
is there a
that's what.
delay- is there a delayed billing from them to the town?
No, it's just, it's a internal process that saves everybody time in our department and in the finance department. So you just input the bill. You don't have to generate a PO. There's already one there. It streamlines the process a little bit. That's all.
I'm gonna trust you on this one too.
Please do.
I just wanted to bring it up because it just seemed low to me.
Sure. Gotcha. Thank you, Phil. All right, back onto the water division. So under 5241, we ended up reducing that down. Our original original was an additional 8,000, but we reduced that by 4,000 based on conversations with the board and trying to get, I guess, creative in trying to limp these vehicles along, and hopefully there's no catastrophic failures within those vehicles. The next line item, 5530, water supplies, we reduced that by $5,000. So under that line item is a minus 8.3%. And then under 5590, other supplies miscellaneous, we reduced that by $4,000 based on last year's number. So that equates to a minus 16.7%. With a total division increase, which is pretty modest, a 2.53% increase. Questions, concerns with the water?
No, I'm all set with those reductions.
Good, okay. Utilities, no change. And then we have the stormwater account. So we ended up reducing the 5241 repair vehicles, reduced that by $2,000 based on last week's meeting and discussion this week coming forward. And then under the 5530 stormwater supplies, we ended up reducing that by $5,772 based on last year's numbers. So that gives a decrease under 5530 of minus 18.76%. And then on the vehicle one, it was an increase of 25%.
Hey, Bruce,
Yep,
if you look at 5307,
5307, okay.
would you take a challenge to go to 65 instead of 70?
We've reduced that this year by 5,000 already. Tom, this is kind of your baby. I'm not sure how you feel. I know this is used for many different things, and more specifically Tig and Bond and helping with our annual report and things like that. Let me take a look.
I could probably pick up some of that slack, Bruce.
Okay, all right. Sounds good. We will,
And I have one other with Tom and you. The 5590. I know you have $10,000 in there,
yep,
and it was for outflow testing kits.
yep.
We haven't spent anything there this year.
Because those typically take
Right.
place in the spring, when we start using that monies. And this includes, I believe, shovels and other things of that nature under that account number. And if I can find the explanation sheet.
I know I'm nickel and diamond, but at this point, we could take a couple $1,000 challenge here.
That's gonna be a tricky one. There's only $10,000 in it.
Right.
I'm hesitant, Phil.
I would say let that one be, right? 'Cause it's the stormwater is still a new account too, right? So we don't have a lot of historical perspective on it.
Yeah, I do. Let me take a look at it. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna leave it up to the board. Do you guys all agree, or what do you think? It's a couple grand. Is that's what you wanted to take out, Phil, or?
What do you think?
My whole goal here was to try to maintain the budget, the last year's budget without any increases and have a little bit of a cushion, you know?
Well, as it is stands, not even taking out the $5,000 out of 5307 or the 2,000 under 5590, we're at a minus 0.87%, almost a minus 1% under the stormwater as of right now. And you'd probably be at probably 1.5% reduction in that line item based on those $7,000 in addition. And I'm just throwing that out there. So,
I really don't want to increase the fees for at least a year or two
I agree.
minimum,
Yep,
you know, and so I just want to have a little bit of built-in cushion to increase, but without increasing any rates
sure,
for additional budget requests
sure.
for at least 2 years.
Yep,
At this point, because we're all in a study phase,
yep,
and especially with the changes in the water and sewer bill, you know, with that bonded of, you know, another 55,000 coming in the sewer,
sure.
it's going to increase those rates
Okay.
to roughly to some degree. So I'm really not looking for increases in revenue and trying to hold the rates in these enterprise funds at this point in time during this pandemic, and at least for a year, you know what I mean?
Yep, yep,
By holding the line on this stuff, it would give us a little bit of cushion if we have to increase without increasing rates.
sure, sure.
That's my whole point.
Yep, I understand. I understand. Any comments?
I'm good with leaving that alone.
Yeah, I'd like to just leave it for this year because again, we don't know where we're gonna be, and this all this MS4 permitting stuff is all, you know, it can get us in trouble if we're not careful.
I'm fine with that if you guys are okay with that.
Okay,
I'm just looking to hold the rates the way they are, you know, for a year.
I think we're in pretty good shape. If anything, like I said, we're already at a minus 0.87%, and basically that gives us kind of our operational, you know what I mean, our operational outlook anyway. So I think we'll be in pretty good shape. So we won't have to.
The only reason why I have a concern with the storm and water is that new requirements that we're going to be kicking in
Mhm.
another year, you know, that he sent out, Bruce, and
Yeah.
we don't know to some degree how much that's going to increase this budget,
Mhm.
you know, kind of quickly, and especially if you've got to go out for external services,
Sure,
you
sure,
know, that
Yep.
professional fees are going to have to go up.
right,
And Tom is going to be running all around trying to do testing and
right.
satisfying a lot of answers and doing a lot of reports.
Yep, yep.
So this could change dramatically.
Yeah, and keep in mind too, our 5-year capital plan for stormwater. So some of these items, we're gonna have to use whatever we don't use in our operational budget for bonding purposes to pay
Right.
for that bond and build up the bank account a little bit. So, anyways. Okay,
I
so,
just wanna remind my fellow board members that that's going to change dramatically.
right,
We
right,
Can we? Well, I don't want to change subjects.
right.
We'll just talk budget.
Okay. So anyways, that's really it for the budget. I wish I had the whole total percentage and everything else based on the changes, but it's no longer accurate, I guess. Well, within reason, under our general fund, we've actually coming up with only a 0.4% increase overall for all our general fund liabilities, which is great news. We're well under the guidelines that the town manager sent out for level services. That means level services. That means except for contractual and salary obligations, all the line items should be even. So I think you guys should be very happy with what we got here. The only one is, like you said, is the sewer. And based on those changes, hopefully we reduce that 10.3% down even further. So, and it will. I figured maybe 9% or maybe 8.5, but I will update the sheet and send it out to you first thing tomorrow morning. Other than that, everybody pretty much happy on the budget, and I'll send it out to you tomorrow with the revised changes. And I don't know if you guys are comfortable on voting on that.
I'm comfortable right now with voting on, with the changes that we just made,
okay,
and saving some time.
okay.
I'm not sure how common.
Yep.
I'm comfortable doing a vote on it now based off of the changes we just discussed.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to accept the budget as revised in the minutes previous.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor, Tom,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
and myself as an aye.
okay, excellent.
All right, thanks, Bruce.
You got it, and thank you guys for your hard work and helping me. I appreciate your input and guidance, obviously moving forward. I guess my next question, I am going to start the rates and fees next based on, because now I have a kind of a baseline to go by. What I think I'm going to do first is we're going to do a working session, okay? Based on 0% increase, and we'll just have an open meeting discussing and seeing where we're at when plugging in our updated operational numbers and everything else. And you know, my sheet I have with the outgoing years, and put that in front of you guys so we can see where we're at and where we're going to be going in the future, and plan accordingly, if that's okay with you guys.
Yes.
You know, instead of me going through the whole process and all the documentation to try to get, you know, maybe, well, hopefully it's going to be a 0% increase across the board. That's, I think, your guys' intent and mine, I believe, to not pass along any increases for next year. But we can see financially where we're at, and then obviously plug in some numbers in the future years to offset the reduction, obviously, in our bank account, I guess you could say, and see where we're at. Maybe it's not going to be a big issue, and I think we've done good so far. I know in the beginning when we started the rates and fees, we had no money in the bank. We had $24,000, I believe, in our sewer fund, and roughly, I believe, $16,000 in our water fund. So we've come a long way, and I think we've built up our reserves. And I'm hopeful to get some numbers from the chief financial officer.
I think those are important numbers to get at this point.
I started again in December, Phil.
I know.
So anyways, I will do my best, but I will reach out to you guys. Let's give me a couple weeks to get my ducks in a row, and I'll start sharing some information. Then we'll schedule our next meeting. Okay.
Sure.
Excellent.
That sounds great.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Guys.
Thanks, Bruce.
You're welcome.
All right, I guess to make a motion to adjourn the meeting for the Board of Public Works for today. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor, Phil?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. All right, thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.